All right, here we are
Hey, here we are.
once again.
Once again, it's Friday. Happy Cinco de Mayo. If you're Mexican, sorry for the cultural appropriation.
That's
'Cause
what we do.
I just used it. It's mine now. Um, hey,
We won the wars.
I think so. Yeah, we
Yeah,
we beat them. We pushed them back.
we did.
Well, we didn't, but you
Hmm.
Americans did.
I was there.
Were you?
Yep.
Most likely. We've won a different war, I think. We've arrived. Welcome to us.
Welcome.
We've arrived in the sense that we have been shadowed. That was a legit thing that happened to us. So if you notice
It's
some of our videos,
probably
maybe you didn't.
happened a few times.
Yeah, most likely. But if you notice this last week, uh,
Look at our view count.
our view counts are
Dramatically dropped.
yeah.
Not that we
So
get a lot of views, but we were going steady, at probably minimum 50 to up to 1,000 or something in
or
the
two,
last
we
week.
had 2001 view or
Yeah, that
one
was a
video.
few weeks ago,
Yeah, or 2 weeks
but
ago or something.
like
I think
zero
I
this
think that yeah,
week.
I think that means that we're here. We arrived.
We're ruffling
We're
feathers.
ruffling the feathers.
We're turning heads.
Uh-oh.
Watch out.
So you tell your friends about us because we're kind of a big
We're
deal now.
coming.
Yeah, we're getting there. Yeah. So
Coming on everything.
yeah, thanks for joining us. If you are here live, cool. Enter the chat, say some shit. We'll speak back to you. If you're catching us after the live show, try and catch us on Friday from 7 to 8. We do the live show. Sometimes we go a little heavy, we go a little long. Um, and yeah, we'll interact with you. We like that. So yeah.
Yeah, so we should
And
jump
yeah, and
right
before
into it.
you do that, obviously we gotta say it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Support us that way, and yeah, maybe help us with the banning.
Maybe, probably not.
Probably not. All right, we can get right into it.
All right, check this out. First story of the day. Uh, everybody's talking about this. So I guess what happened is there was a raving lunatic on the subway, who I think I saw some people talking about had quite an extensive criminal record. It was a homeless guy threatening people on the subway. Some guy, I guess a Marine, put him in a
Marine.
chokehold, and he wound up dying from the chokehold. And now all of the evil leftists who want to end society are advocating that this guy be thrown in jail,
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
and the rest of us are calling him a hero.
Isn't this one of those things that should be fuck around, find out?
Yeah,
Yeah, you screw around, and you just happen to get unlucky, run into a Marine, put you in a chokehold.
or anybody.
Well, I mean, I'd put somebody in a chokehold too. I'd do the same thing.
Yeah, but I love how like CNN frames it. Man dies after being put in a chokehold by another rider on New York City subway. Like they're framing it like someone just randomly decided to
Right.
throw this guy in a chokehold. Like you know what, you're going in a chokehold today, and then he died. It's like no, this guy was threatening people. I guess very seriously. He was like saying that he was prepared to die. I think is something that he said, and so
It's not sensational enough if they actually put the truth there.
well, yeah.
You know.
This is the point that Tim Pool was making on his show with the Sirs last night. Like the left doesn't give a fuck until somebody stands up to the criminal,
Right.
which is actually eerie because you made a good point that um, it was written about in the Gulag Archipelago about the Soviet Union that that was the case in that society too. Like so, when you did the thing like it's wrong and you should have known better, but then when the criminal does the thing it's like well that's what they do, like it's whatever, and that's kind of what we're seeing now.
Yeah.
Like criminals are running rampant, and when somebody steps in to stop them it's a big deal. That they need to do something about it. Throw this guy in jail.
I don't understand this because we used to applaud this kind of thing, and then I mean, you've always witnessed it. You've been somewhere and you've seen somebody who's a little off their rocker. They're saying something like, I think not a couple weeks ago or something. We saw a dude at the corner, screaming out God stuff. I don't know what he was, some
Oh
Jesus
yeah, but
is
he was
coming.
just like a
But
preacher
I'm
guy,
saying,
repent for your sins,
but you see
those
that kind
like
of thing and you go, that person's a little off the rocker, right? And you go, that's harmless. I mean, they're making a little noise, so what? Um, but when somebody who's quote unquote harmless harms someone, it's time to intervene. It's time that when somebody who's at a home or something like that, who's mentally deficient in some way or whatever, when they do something to hurt others, you go, okay, well now we got to lock them up because they can't be in society. But when they're just being like irritating, you go, oh, so what? I mean, they're just being a little irritating.
yeah,
Let it go.
that's how it should work.
Exactly. But in this case, this guy was being a lot more than irritating.
Well, apparently he had an extensive criminal record and probably shouldn't have been a free man anyway.
Yeah.
Like, so this at all levels, it's a failure of the justice system. And then, of course, when someone steps in and does the right thing, this guy did the right thing.
Yeah.
Um, it's a big deal.
Look where it is, though, of course.
Well, yeah, it's in New York. Like, it's
I mean, anybody
these
who's
are people that just hate society.
I feel sorry
They
for
want to watch the
people.
world burn.
I feel sorry for people that live in these big cities like this because they're stuck to
Are
some
they though?
degree. Well, I mean,
It's expensive to live in
but I
New York
mean, but
City.
okay. So imagine you've gone to school, you've gotten a job, in your field, and you have to live or close to or work in New York or whatever, right? And you're making good money in New York, and that's what you want to do. So you're going to tolerate the bullshit of New York because you have to be there, right? So it's like, yeah, when I say that you have to, of course you don't. You always have a
I don't think
choice
that's
not to,
most
but
people though. I think there are a lot of people in New York that
that
are
choose.
just stuck to the idea
Yeah,
of what it is to be in that kind of city
sure.
and who aren't they're not making good money. They're maybe
But I don't
making
feel sorry for
ends
those
meet.
people.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the majority of people
But I
are
mean,
like that.
maybe somebody like this, dude, ex-marine and stuff. Maybe he lives there because he's
Oh,
kind
sure.
of forced to in some way, you know. And then he does a good thing. I mean, yeah, it's a bad result. Nobody wants somebody to die.
It'd be an interesting twist if this guy voted Democrat.
Yeah, that would be an
Because
interesting
then it'd be
twist.
like, oh, okay.
You got what you voted for.
Well, that's yeah, you voted for you to go to jail for doing that. Okay.
Yeah. It's sad though in that regard too because people a lot of people I think vote Democrat because
They don't know fuck all about anything,
right, they
and
don't know necessarily
someone knocks on their door and says vote Democrat, and they're like, "Oh, okay."
well I mean or maybe they think that it's still the party of the 80s and 90s
Yeah,
type
because
thing,
they don't
right?
know. Yeah,
And they're maybe they're just a liberal person and they're like I can't vote conservative, I can't vote
because they just buy
Republican.
into the like they have a very surface level understanding of the political system, so they just buy into the propaganda
Right.
of everything, and so they vote for the party that they're told to.
It used to be before it was funny. I guess there was a bit more when it was a bit more moderate that way. It was like there was more voting for the individual as opposed to the party. But now it's like you got to stay on party lines. You got to vote. Can't vote for Republicans because Donald Trump, and they're just
Yeah,
evil. The Republicans are evil now, and oh,
which I think is like
they want to save babies and stuff.
what's it called? What's it called when like so? I think when they call the Republicans evil, I think they're projecting themselves onto Republicans. I think when they call Republicans evil, racist,
Yeah,
bad faith, sexist, misogynist, I think anything that they are calling Republicans now is a pure projection of themselves
yeah,
because it's almost always not true
right,
in any capacity. Like they have to make something up to make their argument work.
yeah. It's the sad thing to me is probably 90% of quote unquote Democrats don't really believe in this shit wholesale. They just go with it. It's just like, okay, well,
Yeah,
or they read a headline like that and they go, oh, a guy attacked another guy in the subway.
they read a headline like this and they assume someone just
Well,
randomly
that's what
did
I
that.
mean.
Yeah, like
It's like, go talk to the woman who got punched in the face by this guy.
yeah.
Go talk to the other people on the subway and see what they say. I'll bet you
Eh,
they've got a whole different story about what this dude did. I mean, yeah, but every week we could talk about three of these
mhm.
types of things. Not exactly obviously this thing, but three of these types of bullshit things where now the well, I guess it's gonna be Bragg there, right? That's gonna be the one, the DA that
Oh, I don't
investigates.
know.
I'm guessing it'd be, or his office is gonna do the investigating. That ought to go well. I mean, guy's a tool bag.
They're gonna charge this guy with murder. It's like
I don't
this.
know if they will. I
People
think they'll try and sensationalize this a lot and try and use it politically, but I don't think they're gonna
people have to get out of cities. I think is the bottom line, brass tacks of all of this.
try. Yeah. Well,
Like I think what so
New York was a dumpster fire in the '80s too.
I think what's happening is it's like that what is it that rat utopia experiment that Tim Pool keeps talking about. You familiar? Remember his arguments? So I guess what they did is they put these rats in this thing. It's like not like bigger than a cage. Like they had a lot of space and they had everything that they needed. They had food, water, everything they needed, and everything just broke down. Like they started attacking each other. They were killing each other. There were some that were separated off, and they only cared about like grooming themselves and like it just became a broken society of rats. Everything completely fell apart. And I think that's what's happening with cities
Hmm.
because there's just too many people there, too many people in close proximity, and the resources are too high. There's not like there's just I think all of that's culminating and causing people to just go nuts, literally go insane.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't
I
think it's
would
a healthy way to live.
I would agree with that. And again, we talk about things being cyclical. I think this is it's the cycle. Like I said, in the '80s, it was a dumpster fire in New York. We're like 40 years later, probably two cycles of two generational cycles back to dumpster fire. I don't know. So, uh, I hope this guy doesn't. Yeah, I hope he doesn't have to deal with any bullshit. I hope they just go, okay, you know, enough's enough, and they just give him they give him this bullshit PR, and they move on. But we'll have to see. Yeah. Well, let's just move on to the next thing.
What do we have next? Oh, this is interesting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So like 2 days ago, yesterday, there was a the headlines were that there was a Ukrainian drone that attempting to assassinate Putin. Now Russia's saying they're blaming the U.S. for it. Ukraine is saying that they didn't do it. Um,
It's a little messy.
I don't know.
Like, who knows, man? Who knows what's like? It's all these little sort of instigations and escalations and shit.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was the United States.
I wouldn't either. Wouldn't either. But I don't know what the point. Well, I mean, obviously the point is trying to kill Putin.
I mean, the United States is all about overthrowing regimes by ousting the leadership.
Look what they did to Gaddafi.
Yeah,
Um, I mean that
that
was
worked out
great. That
great.
worked out amazing.
So obviously they're gonna do it again.
It's like they can't help themselves. They can't help themselves but intervene and meddle and fuck around in foreign governments and uh, it's well that's probably why they hated Trump so much because he didn't really do that.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons for sure.
I mean he
Trump was
was
anti-war, and they're like
he just more he
hawkish.
didn't see the point. I don't think he saw the point in that. He's like okay, business minded guy like that. He's just probably let's just focus on business at home
Yeah.
and
Well, yeah, and that's the
not
thing,
that's
right?
not good for the
The amount of money that they've put into Ukraine that they should not have put in there at all.
not their money. They don't care.
They could put it
It's not
probably
even real money.
probably in like every city of the United States, like split up, allocating it to the areas that need it the most, and like really fucking
Can you
revitalize the
imagine
United
they
States.
put $10 billion into Baltimore or Detroit?
Yeah,
Like
anywhere. New York, just fucking
it's crazy to me when you think
build up
about
the
that.
infrastructure. Upgrade public transit to uh, um, reinforced some of the welfare stuff. Like there's just so many things that they could do with the kind of money in so many areas that need it so much, and it would just bolster the American economy.
Mhm.
So why don't they do that? Well, obviously because they're trying to destroy the country. So you put the money outside of it, and
Yeah, I agree with you on a simplistic point. I don't think it's about destroying the country necessarily. I don't think they care about the country enough to destroy it. It's just about lining their pockets. It's about keeping this machine going. Just keep the war machine going all the time. There's always got to be a new conflict somewhere.
yeah,
No matter if there is one or not. Let's just get ourselves into
let's
it.
make it.
Let's. Oh, hey, oh, you're gonna. Hey, you that guy over there? He was saying some shit about you. I'm just saying. I can sell you some weapons. We're not going to be involved though. Hey, hands out. But
Except when they are
here's
involved.
here's all of our weapons. Hey, it's I shouldn't laugh because it's sad. I laugh because it's sad.
Yeah, well, we're very like, fuck, man. We're definitely in my life we're the closest we've ever been to like a nuclear war,
Well, yeah, for sure. I
and
mean,
they're just pushing it
there was times in the past where they were quote unquote close, but
very close
I
in the
don't think
past.
they've ever been as close as now.
Yeah, I don't know. It feels like it's one move away from just all out war.
Hmm.
But then when something like this happens, like you might expect this to instigate, especially if Russia says the U.S. did this, you'd expect this to escalate way more than it has.
At least
Unless
some
it
type of
is in the
retaliation.
sense that Russia is now like, so Russia could have decided that day, okay, we are at war with the United States, but to gain the advantage, now they're gonna do something. Like they're gonna set up something uh, to like invade a NATO country or something,
What
and they're gonna
happens?
use some time to get that set up before actually doing it instead of just immediately doing it. And this is the thing that
What happens if Putin decides, hey, you know what? You tried to make an attempt on my life. I'll make an attempt on your president's life. Like
well, I
who
at
backs
this
down?
point I think the establishment would welcome that.
Well, yeah, maybe.
Now that he's running again, I don't think they want him to run. I think they want another person in there.
Well, I think personally, I think you're going to start to see some all of a sudden the laptop become a thing. You know, all of his ties to
Yeah,
various different things are going to become a thing now. As it gets closer and he starts to get a little traction, and then you'll see a little dark horse come in. Like I said, maybe a Michelle Obama or something like that. Somebody that
that
can
would be
just
funny.
insert and say, yeah, you know what, with popularity like that, like she would be a. I,
Should be
I hate to say,
popular.
it, I think she'd be a shoo-in.
I don't know.
I think she'd get a ton. She would get a ton of the other side votes too.
Maybe.
I think she would. I think
I don't know if
because
she'd win against Trump.
I
Depends on how the debates go.
yeah. But
Because
are they
Trump
saying
is
they're not going to debate now, or they're not going to? So
so fucking crazy.
I don't know if that would change necessarily. Sorry, Mike. Calling at the wrong time, buddy. Calling
He's
during a podcast. Anyways, yeah. So
gonna yell at you for cutting it off.
yeah, I'll just text them quick.
Yeah, he's mad.
Yeah,
Um,
probably. Yeah. So, anyways, we'll see how this goes as far as
yeah, it just feels like
wars
another
invading.
another escalation um to the growing conflict. But yeah, so we can move on to this topic here. This is kind of interesting because Media Matters has been dropping, I guess, what they're calling leaked videos
Are
of
they
Tucker
really?
Carlson. But people are saying that some of them are weird and almost seem like deep fakes. There's some reasons to think that maybe they're not real videos at all. And
Well,
I don't
yeah.
know what to think about that, if that's true or not. It,
I watched the I watched the one and his eyes did dart around a lot, but I don't know. That's a normal thing to
yeah,
do.
I don't know. Like that's the thing. I don't know. And how like if considering his Media Matters, it wouldn't surprise me if it was completely deep faked. It just wouldn't shock me.
Have you seen the videos online where people take like for some reason Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger are hot ones. They take them and they put them into different movies. Like the 4-Year-Old Virgin was one
Mm.
where
Oh yeah, they just deep fake the
yeah,
face on
they put the
and
face on there.
the voice.
If you hadn't seen the movie or anything, you would.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Well, they're pretty close to just being able to like they're putting it onto an existing scene. They're probably pretty close to being able to like add something to the scene, like
Mm.
another person that wasn't there. someone's standing off to the side that wasn't there before, and it just looks completely real and is interacting in a way that makes sense. Like
Scary times, man, because you don't know what's real, what's fake.
that's
Already, we don't know.
we're at that point where you don't know,
It's like, and then
and so
you gotta wonder. You gotta wonder if all of this is sort of contrived in a way because, like, so you do a thing. And who knows who really started the fake news thing? Everybody says Trump did, but who knows who really kind of started that? Now, it's that whole idea of throwing shit at the wall. You don't know what to believe, so
yeah.
they create conspiracy theory, the term conspiracy theory. Then they create fake news. They all this. So then you don't know what to trust. So when you hear shit, you hear negative shit. You go, is that true? Is that
Usually
fake?
trust the conspiracy theories.
Well,
They're usually about 6 months ahead of the curve. You
trust
know,
Alex Jones. He seems to seems to know stuff.
he's definitely plugged in some stuff.
I don't know what he knows. I think he's got some kind of like maybe he's having an affair with an alien or something like that.
He's definitely
Time
got
traveler.
some good sources.
I don't know
He's
what's
100% got some good sources. He's made some crazy calls
he has. He even made the call about Tucker.
that they were going to fire him.
Yeah. Well, he didn't say they were going to fire him. He said that he won't be at Fox News long or
Oh,
something like that.
yeah.
And it was like a month or so before it happened.
That's an easier prediction, especially if you're
I
plugged
know
in.
that okay, but if that was somebody else, you could go, okay, well then maybe they got lucky.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, because it's Alex Jones, he gets
Yeah,
lucky all the
he
fucking
might
time.
have known something. Alex Jones said that basically predicted the Ukraine war 6 months earlier. He's like they're gonna invade in February and blah blah blah. They're gearing up for this, and then that happened.
It's just weird what he seems to know. But if
That's why they I think that's why they want him off the air.
yeah,
He's too on the nose about some things. There might be some things that he's saying that to normal people sound wacky, but are so spot on the nose that they're like, no, we can't even have him saying these things.
I got a fun conspiracy theory right here.
Yeah,
Maybe Alex Jones is an alien,
could be.
but the same alien as the other. So they're all the same aliens, but he's like a defector of them. So he's saying stuff, and they're like, "No, you're not supposed to say that. That's not the script." But he's like breaking away because
Or he's
maybe
a
he's
different
like,
alien, and it's a war between aliens.
could be that too, but it could be the same. And then he's like, "Hey, maybe he's
What?
like a."
All of the celebrities are aliens. All of the famous people that everybody knows, the people in government, they're all aliens of different races, and that's why you have different parties doing different things and weird warfare in the media. It's battles between different races of aliens that have infiltrated humanity and are battling it out for control.
That's crazy. Yeah. Well, you know what? Let's
Be
see
a
what.
good movie.
Yeah, it
Actually,
would
that'd
be
be a
actually.
fucking awesome movie. You
That
want to
would.
make a movie?
Let's make a movie, man. Hey, actually, let's just use AI to write it.
Well, we can have it write the script.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We could just have like the script. We could even have it. We could have it all digital. We could have it all acted out, and then we could just have it do the whole thing.
That we're a little bit of a ways away from.
Oh, I think we can do it. Let me figure it out. Just have it.
They don't have that yet.
Well, I mean, you could just make it generate images and shit.
Even it's not that good and then you'll get one still image.
Yeah, maybe.
And then you need like how many still images are in a movie? What is it? 12 frames per second times 60 times 90?
Like, what is that? 12 per second times 60. Do the math. I don't know. Fucking know. My brain's gonna
I
blow
don't
up.
know. No.
My brain will blow up. Uh, 12 times 60 is 72. 720 times another 60 is 7,200, 49,000. Is that right? 49,000?
43,200.
43,200. I was close. Just quick math. 43,200. Holy shit. Okay. Well,
Oh, but it's more than that though.
no, and then times, because that's times an hour. It's more than an hour, unless.
Yeah, yeah. So it's 12 frames per second times 60 for a minute times 90 for an hour and a half. 64,800
Yeah,
images.
there you go. All right. Well, I think we can do it. Look for a movie in the future. We'll post it right here
That is going to
on our
happen.
channel.
There is going to be a point when you can give a prompt, something like make me a movie about cowboys fighting aliens in the 1870s and
And the
you
creepy
know
AI will do it.
30 seconds. Well, it'll probably generate it as it goes
Yeah.
too. So this is fucking crazy. I just thought of what if the movie just starts going? And it just starts going, and the AI is generating this, it's creating this world and this narrative and all the stuff that's going on, and it's just gonna go forever
Mhm.
until you tell it, like, okay, wrap it up. I'm bored. It'll just go, and it's got this world with all these characters, and it's
Just
doing all
keep
this
going,
stuff, and it just keeps going and going and going. So
like
you just
episodes.
only it's just constant. It's continuous. There's
Hey,
no
chat.
commercial breaks.
Hey, Chat GPT, restart that again.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's like, "I didn't like that last scene. Can you rewind 30 minutes and
Yeah,
redo that?" But then you say, "Okay, wrap it up. I'm getting bored now." And then it concludes it.
that's fun.
Or you just have it running forever and you just have, like, a simulation
Well, let's hope Media Matters includes themselves
out of existence,
out of
or
existence.
if they actually get back to, like, caring about the media and journalism.
Yeah, good luck. Yeah, we'll just move on to the next. We got a few things to talk about. This one's stupid. This Everything like this is stupid though.
Yeah, so I guess Dwayne Wade, he's been getting booed, though, and chanted, people saying he's mutilated his son. And he said he's leaving Florida for the safety of their family, right? Because Florida's not allowing
Gender
children to be
blocking and
at drag
stuff.
shows.
Oh, that. Oh, okay.
So that means it's dangerous for his son, that's a transgender, um, to be there.
You know what? This is what I hate about it. You make up this bullshit that's dangerous. Who is threatening? Who's threatening
Oh
anybody?
no, but he's doing like political
Has
standings.
he or his son? So he has a son who's transitioning to a girl.
Yeah,
Okay. Has he or she?
I think so.
Okay. Well, okay. Then so he has a now daughter, trans daughter. Uh, have they gotten threats? I mean, if they
No,
have, okay, then I understand. Then get the fuck out and then protect your family. But
he's
don't
doing this for
bullshit
attention.
this fucking bullshit and conjecture to say that you're being threatened just to make a point.
So, how much money did this guy have?
Oh, fuck, I don't know.
Like, let's
100
see.
million maybe?
Well, he's been in the NBA for a fucking long time, and
Yeah.
NBA salaries are
Yeah, I'm
huge.
gonna say 200 million. That's what I'm.
What is it, 170
170.
million?
Boom.
Oh, his salary is only 20 million.
Yeah, but still. So his net worth's 175.
Oh,
Just
he's
under
not
175.
even. Okay, so he's former. I think
Yeah, he's
he
former
was
member.
2016 when he ended, or something like
Something
that.
like that. I don't follow the NBA. I just know he's not playing anymore. But I would have figured somewhere around 200 million.
Right.
But okay, so yeah, you have the means to protect your family with security and stuff.
From nothing.
Yeah, and I mean, again, like I said, if I understand if you perceive threats, that's also another thing. If you perceive threats, but it has to be credible that somebody has said things or like made some credible threats
Yeah,
towards
but
you.
children aren't allowed at drag shows. Children aren't allowed to go to sexually charged events. So
We've talked about
danger,
this. Yeah, we've talked about this before.
danger.
This is bizarre to me that it's even a thing. I don't
Why is the
understand.
drag stuff tied to transgender?
Exactly. How is that? I was about to say that. How has this become a thing now that they've? It's like they went, oh, this is kind of a popular thing. Let's just attach ourselves to that because we're close.
Yeah.
You're not. Fuck you. You're not a person who's going through issues. You're just a perverted dude that likes to dress in girls' clothes. Cool. I'm all for it. Go nuts. Have fun. Do it, but do it away from the fucking kids.
Yeah.
Like I don't understand. Why do you want to involve kids?
I
This is
think it
what.
says a lot about who they are and what they're trying to do
I get fucking so mad with this shit because
when kids
just
are
leave
involved
the
in anything.
fucking kids out of it. You can
Yeah.
be an adult and do whatever fucking weird shit you want to do. If you want to have somebody spank you in a diaper and whatever the fuck you want to do, have fun. It's cool. Like I have no problem with that whatsoever. Well, now you want the person spanking you to be a 14-year-old girl?
Yeah.
You're gonna like I get riled up with this shit.
These are sick people.
I just don't. I
They're
just don't.
disgusting.
I don't get it. Where did we shift? When did the shift happen where we went in society? We went, okay, we'll allow this. Yeah,
Well,
this seems okay.
I believe it was 2012 when they turned on the Hadron Collider. Is that the year that happened?
Yeah, yeah.
I think that
We
was the
talked about that
shift.
last week,
I
right?
think that
Yeah.
was the shift. They turn on the fucking
What I don't
collider,
understand,
and now we're in this universe. I don't want to be in this
yeah,
universe.
I also don't understand the fact that so the transgender movement itself should be more organized. There should be more of a credible sort of representation of that movement. And you can't just pigeon yourself and attach yourself to this fucking movement because you decide you're perverted and you want to dress in ladies' clothing and shit. They should say, no, no, no. We denounce this. This is not part of our thing. This is not part of our movement. This is not what we believe in. This is not, we don't think kids should be in any way really involved in this kind of thing because these are adult decisions. These are life altering decisions. And it should be somebody who's actually going through some serious situations that they need to correct. And I'm not even opposed to necessarily like a young person um, transitioning, just not with any of the physical stuff until they're an adult and they can make that decision. Now,
Yeah.
as far as like if they want to start to identify as the opposite sex or things like that, I'm not even really opposed to that because I think that might be a good thing for them to learn.
Let them do what they want.
Right.
Just don't cut their genitals off.
Right.
Don't give them puberty blockers. Don't like do all this nonsense
Yeah.
stuff that's gonna hurt them, and potentially sterilize them.
Yeah.
And let them get to adulthood and then decide what they want to do with their lives.
Exactly. And there's this thing where it's like these helicopter parents that are on board with this bullshit that they're like I can imagine in their mind they're like, oh, I don't want to let my my son go through puberty and then uh, they miss all of this window of opportunity to be able to actually you know blossom as a girl instead of a boy
Yeah,
or
it's not
vice
gonna make
versa.
a difference too. Like that's the thing. Like it isn't like at a certain point you can stop development and shift and actually become a girl and like grow a vagina or whatever.
Right.
At the end of the day, if you get bottom surgery, you're just gonna have a wound. Like you're never gonna
It's
have
like a piercing
a
essentially.
vagina, and you're not gonna experience like really pleasure from that. I'm pretty sure.
Well, I mean,
I
how are
don't.
they gonna unless they do something with like the nerve endings of the penis and then they're able to like do that. I don't know the science behind it. All I know is that these kind of decisions, if you asked me to make that kind of a decision when I was 12 or something, if you said to me, hey, you need to
Oh,
decide
yeah.
right now, are you a boy or are you a girl? I mean, I would have been different because I knew I was a very, you know, I was a very boy all the way through.
Hmm.
But if let's say I wasn't, how am I going to make that decision?
Especially at 12, the beginning of puberty, people who could be confused about their sexuality and not really know what's going on or what they're feeling.
Right.
Like I think any 12-year-old would agree to do like something crazy if you know, throw them into a yes or no scenario. You got to answer fast, yes or no. Like
And I
fuck, they
mean,
make insane decisions.
and you also add in the fact that you're going to get some weird societal praise or weird societal
Oh yeah,
acceptance.
and that's a huge part of the reason why a lot of these people are doing it.
It's like because it's the popular thing to do
Well,
right
to be
now. And so
normal,
like,
right, is to be wrong and to be evil.
yeah, it's just leave the kids out, man. Just
I like that this guy's been booed though.
yeah. I mean, and again, I don't really. I'm not going to say I'm against him because I really like. I don't like when you make decisions for kids because obviously he has to at this point. He's a 15-year-old kid. But aside from all that, if he wants to move because he feels perception of threat, fine, okay. But the fact that it's somehow sensationalized in some way, this is a slam against Florida. Let's be real. This is
It's an
just
attempt to be, but he's
yeah,
moving to Los Angeles,
that's
which
so, I mean, but
compared to
this is
Miami.
yeah, but this is just a slam against Florida. They're just this is oh they're like "Hey, well, how can we
Yeah.
how can we slam Florida some more? We're gonna take
Yeah,
a
because they're moved to Los Angeles in a mega mansion with a 17-foot wall and a team of security
yeah
guards. You know,
yeah. And good luck over there because
I wonder too. I
that's
wonder if
that's
there's
fire
something
too.
to this. I wonder if his he she child um hates him for being rich.
Maybe.
You know, the leftist policies and shit. Maybe there's something to that where now he's like desperate to placate to them because he wants to prove to them that he's good and to earn his child's love because his child's been indoctrinated to be a communist.
I don't know what's going on. It could all be legit. I mean, that's just as possible, I suppose.
Yeah, people are dumb.
But it's to me, it's just I don't know. I don't think this helps the movement. And I'm actually, strangely enough, because I'm a libertarian that way, I'm actually for the movement. I'm actually for rights. I'm glad we live in a society that we say, hey, if you feel that you were born in the wrong body, that you can go and do something about it as an adult. You go and do it, and I'll respect it all the way. I respect someone like Blair White, right? A logical, uh, biological male transgendered to female, and I mean, I will respect all of the pronouns. I'll respect all that because I respect that person and I respect that end of the movement. But when you're trying to do this with kids and you're trying to push this strange agenda, drag shows and all this kind of stuff to try and indoctrinate our kids, you need to go to hell. You need to be burned because you're the equivalent of a fucking witch right now. Burn you on a stake. Enough's enough already. We're sick of this shit. All right. I get really fucking charged up when you start talking about kids like that because it really gets ugh.
You want to get charged up again?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh god.
This next
Here we
thing.
go. Might as well.
So last night, the serfs, one of the biggest leftists on the internet, I guess, on Twitch mainly. I think probably. I mean, he's on
I
all
don't
of
even
them,
know.
but
I've heard the name
I
The
think he's
Surf.
mainly YouTube, or I mean mainly Twitch. Um, went on Timcast, which is nice to see.
I
Conversations
love
like
that.
this.
I love that.
But there's a lot of fucking crazy things
Is
that
this him
happen.
or is the other guy?
No, this is Seamus.
Okay.
So I'm gonna play this little clip that I thought was hilarious of the surfs kind of. Well, we'll just play it and
We'll talk about it.
we'll have a little chatty poo about it.
Daddy poop.
Chatty poo. Uh-oh, maybe I shouldn't. Okay, there we go.
Literally anything you do to them is acceptable because they're inside of the mother.
Oh no, I don't think anything is acceptable, but I think the mother should still have the choice,
Talking about
ultimate
abortion.
Authority over what happens to her body.
But there's a child inside of her body,
hold on.
not
What
her.
about meth? Like, should she be allowed to do meth?
Yeah.
I think if someone is doing meth while they're pregnant, that it is completely acceptable for something like I don't know what the name of the services in the United States.
Child
I
services.
guess
Child
ECFS
services?
would be.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's her body though.
Yeah, it's her body.
If she wants to do meth, what's the big deal?
The big deal is that she is intentionally trying to kill a child.
Hold on there a minute.
Yeah, and I see where we're going.
I don't understand what you're saying. It's her body.
It's her
If
body.
She wants to do meth. What's
I see where we're going.
Yeah,
He went a little fast in there.
he realized because she's intentionally trying to kill a child. Wait a minute.
Yeah, his brain.
Is that?
This is the
That's
way.
what I.
Yeah, this is the way that you catch them though, because there's this chess game going on,
Yeah,
right?
'cause
It's
they
like
don't
I'm gonna
fucking-
say something, and you know I'm leading you to something, but don't do that. Just catch him on a gotcha like that. Like
What
get him
about
with a smart
meth?
something. That was brilliant. What Tim pulled it just
Yeah.
did there because he caught him. I think he probably was ahead of it. I bet you he was 30 seconds ahead of it, and he was like, I'm gonna wait, and then boom, I'm gonna drop this
Yep.
here. And he just set the trap.
It's
And he
her
let
body,
him
her
walk into it.
choice. Why? Yeah, why can't she just do meth? Well, because she's intentionally trying to kill the child. Well, actually, no. When she's doing meth, she could just be filling an addiction and
Yeah.
be oblivious to the child or indifferent to the child.
Yeah.
But the abortion is an intentional killing of the child. That is
Yeah.
deliberate. That is clear intent.
And it's funny because like Tim Pool actually agrees with abortion. He's actually for it.
He's
pro-choice.
for it being legalized.
That's what I mean.
That
He's
doesn't
pro-choice.
he doesn't agree with
okay.
it.
Well, all right.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I mean. That's what I meant. He's pro-choice. I'm the same. I'm pro-choice. I don't agree with abortion. I don't think it's a good thing, and I wish people didn't do it.
But
But
it's a tragedy every time it happens.
yeah, I don't think it's a nice thing. But I mean, I'm a full libertarian that way. You do what you want to do.
I think people are allowed to make shitty choices.
Right,
Or
exactly.
should be allowed to make shitty choices
Exactly.
and be bad people.
Exactly. I make shitty choices sometimes too. I mean, you do, and everybody does. Imagine if somebody came in and said, "No, you can't do the thing you want to do here." Oh, it's. I mean, now when you factor in a baby, it changes some things. But the problem with this situation here is this guy espouses some things about abortion and about his whole thing is freedom of choice, freedom of body autonomy, all that, which I can agree with and I can get behind. But if you we're not playing any more of this, right?
No,
Yeah.
I'm gonna switch
But
over now.
some of the other stuff that he was talking about
Yeah.
was
They don't have any of the other clips. It's
yeah,
2 hours,
yeah.
and then they went into super chat. So
Very simply, what he was talking about is he was saying that they were talking about abortions, near end term abortions, so in 9 months essentially.
yeah, 9 months, 8 months. But
8 months,
the
9 months.
abortion where the baby could
With a
be
bit,
taken
yeah,
out and
it's
survive on
viable.
its own.
It survive on its own.
He was like in favor of that. He wasn't even saying like, oh, maybe we should make an effort to
Well, he
preserve
was
the
in
baby.
favor because it was inconvenient in some way for the mother to have to give birth to the
He was
baby.
saying forced childbirth.
That's exactly.
And I saw a comment that made a very good point where it's like that's like saying, when you eat food, but then you're against, forced pooping.
That's funny.
Like it doesn't work that way. Like there's an element
Ah,
where
I gotta hold on a second. Are you telling me right now?
yeah,
Is this
if
your
I
position?
eat,
If I
I
eat
have to
something,
poop.
I have to poop?
That is my position.
Fucking horrible. I don't
Yeah.
want the poop.
Why are you forcing me to
I don't want
poop?
to be forced to poop.
But that's a whole element. Like there's no, you know, is it a spontaneous thing that happens to women? Uh, like there are choices along the way.
Yeah.
And so like just to act like oh, I'm against forced childbirth. It's like, well, what?
Like, okay, so there are situations in your life where you get involved in something. You did something, whatever, and you get involved in something, and you're like, oh shit, I didn't really want this. I didn't want to get involved in this thing, but you still have to be responsible and see it through.
Mhm.
I think that's the case with pregnancy. Okay, so
And
if
you made a
you
good point when we were listening to this podcast that the whole leftist paradigm is about
convenience,
it's about the
feelings, and comfort,
just
and
like avoiding responsibility at
right,
all
right,
costs.
yeah.
Just at all costs. No responsibility for any of my actions at all.
That's what I mean. It's like so if you okay, I I want to I gotta preface this. I want to eliminate the idea of like rape and things like that. Let's just say somebody who is a young girl, maybe she's 20, she's in college or whatever, and she gets pregnant accidentally. She doesn't mean to. Something happens and she gets pregnant. Whatever, like even birth control. It's very effective, but they're
It's
like
never 100%.
never 100%. But let's say she gets pregnant and she's like, this is the wrong time for me. This is not convenient to have a child right now. And she wants to have an abortion. And she decides very early she wants to have the abortion. She has the abortion. I don't like it, but I agree with her choice or her ability to make that choice. Now, if for whatever reason she gets pregnant, let's say, and she's like, well, you know what? I think I'm going to make this work. And she gets to 8 months. And then she has some kind of epiphany at that point. And she says, okay, no, this is going to be bad. Maybe the dude left or she goes, whatever, right? And she goes to the clinic and she says, I'd like to abort the baby. And they say to her, no, the baby is now viable. So what we're going to do is you no longer have to have the baby to keep the baby and all that. But you have to give birth to the baby in some way. We're going to have to take it out of you without fucking destroying the baby like they do. So
Yeah,
C-section or
Seamus
natural
made a
birth.
good point about how um like they're they don't have to go in that way. Like there could be a situation where the mother's life is at risk, so they have to take the baby out, but they don't have to like they don't need to destroy the baby. Like there's a lot of scenarios
Yeah.
where they probably could preserve the baby and save the baby's
Yeah.
life, while simultaneously saving the mother's
Right.
life.
Like I think okay, so this is how I think personally. If the mother is in danger and there's no way to save the baby, okay, fine, the baby's got to go.
Mhm.
You got to save the mother. But in that's probably in the very um the very minority of situations, especially now with healthcare the way we have now in medicine now. We can, it used to be when women would give birth to babies back in the day, it was like 1 in 4, I think, or something, would literally die in pregnancy. Like it was crazy. I mean, we're talking about the 1800s and shit. I'd have to look this up, but I'm just shooting shit. but it was really
Well,
high.
if it would be that
I don't think it was probably that high, but
'cause
anyways,
I feel like
but it was,
humanity would die
but it
out.
was, yeah, you're probably right, but it was crazy high, like comparative to now. But it still does happen very rarely, but a woman will bleed out, or there's various different things that will happen, complications. But my point is that if something like that, and the only way to take the baby out is to kill the baby to save the mother, okay, I'm for that. But if you can take the baby out, or the mother has to give birth to the baby to save the baby, I don't see any other option.
Okay, so a century ago, it was more than 600 women per 100,000 births.
Okay.
In the 1600s and 1700s, the death rate was twice that, by some estimates between 1 and 1.5%.
Wow. But still.
So I don't know who told you
I
women
don't. I don't know.
for.
What it
I
was.
wouldn't be surprised if somebody told you that
No,
though,
I don't
because
know.
people are
I may have
fucking
heard that, or I
wild.
may have just be fucking pulling sports.
But yeah, because
Either
that
way,
that doesn't
I
make
know it
sense.
was. I
Women
know it was
women
crazy
are
high. I
women
know
are
that's crazy high
designed
anyway.
well, especially compared to today,
Oh my god,
especially.
1%. Imagine
But
1% of
that
the time.
is yeah.
Like if I told you here's 100 Skittles and one of them's poison,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? You're
I
gonna eat
start
it.
eating Skittles.
Yeah, sure.
I had good
But
odds. I'd eat
they
a
use
lot of
that.
them.
They use that when they were talking about COVID, which was funny.
Yeah.
But anyways, so my point is that baby preserving the life should be at the forefront. Now, in order, the mother's life in order first, then the baby.
Yeah.
But if the mother's life is in no way in jeopardy, well, then sorry for your inconvenience, Mrs. Johnson, but you're going to have to give vaginal birth to the baby that we're going to now take and put up for adoption. You don't want the baby? Cool. You just sign here. No longer your fucking problem.
Yeah.
But you're not going to kill it.
And you don't get a right to it.
And there's no right.
You
Exactly.
don't have a right to show up at its door.
You're right. You can't just say now
15
after the
years
fact,
later.
oh, well, no, I made a bad decision. Well, too fucking bad. Unless you were a child. That's a different thing altogether. If you were like a 13 or 14-year-old kid and you're pregnant,
Yeah.
that's a different caveat. You'd have to cross that thing. But the point here is that he preaches this idea that the mother has full autonomy over her body and can just kill a baby if it's
At all
convenient.
levels, at any
Yeah,
point,
it's convenient to kill the
unless
baby.
she's smoking meth.
Yeah. But then no, because then she's trying to kill the baby.
Yeah.
Are you what? Are you fucking high?
No, because when she goes to get an abortion, she's not trying to kill the baby.
No.
It's an accident when the
Yeah.
abortion kills the baby.
There's a chance the baby survives when they pull it out of there.
That's true, though. That does
I know,
happen,
it's
and
fucking
that's
weird.
and then they kill it. They take out the mallet and
Why are
they
we-
club it
Why are we talking about these? Ugh, gross shit. Oh, we're sorry.
because there are fucked up people out
Sorry.
there advocating for fucked up shit.
Next week, maybe we'll just do a big happy podcast. We'll talk about happy things.
Bees and rainbows.
Puppies and rainbows. We're instead of dead kids and shit. But this is the problem with people that take this view, right? This guy tries to play like he's some type of hippie, that he's for freedom of choice and all
He's
this
an
kind of stuff.
authoritarian.
But he really is. He's on that end. This guy, I would say, is probably will sway whatever way the fucking wind blows. Whatever
Oh,
way
yeah,
is going to
literally.
get
Oh, yeah.
him.
Yeah,
Like
yeah. Whatever
tomorrow,
his team, whatever
I don't
his
think
team.
he's married to any idea whatsoever.
No, he will so easily go back. Whatever arguments his team comes up with, that's
Like if he started to see a drop in his whatever, I don't know how it works with Twitch subscribers.
views. I mean, it'd be the same. It'd be on all of the platforms. It's the same subscribers.
So let's say they start to his views go down, his subscriber base starts to drop. People start to say they don't like what he's saying and stuff. Guaranteed, just change the tune. You just say whatever. I'll say whatever you need me to say. Whatever will get you back.
CNN should hire him.
Yeah, pretty much. They've got some openings.
They do. Yeah.
Yeah, I hear they're looking to fill a lemon.
A lemon roll. Well,
yeah.
Surfs is a bit of a lemon.
It's funny. I've heard the term the Surfs, but I've never.
He's been around. I've definitely mentioned him.
Yeah, that's probably why I've heard it. But it was funny when we were listening to the podcast though, and I said this to you. I didn't disagree with him on certain things, and I could see his point of view on different stuff. Where I was like, it sounds like a moderate point of view, or a classical liberal back in the day. Then he would something like this, like he would right there. He just lost all his credibility. Like you build the credibility. Where I'd be like, I disagree with him, but okay, cool, good debate, and then you're like, you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a shill, buddy. You're just saying whatever you think, and then you got caught.
Yeah.
Because honestly, Tim Pool is. This is the thing I think about Tim Pool. He's super intelligent. He's a little arrogant. Comes off a little arrogant times. But I think that comes with like high intelligence. It's like when you're talking to people that maybe don't know.
I think it
So-
comes with his position,
Maybe.
where he's built up this thing and now he has this people. Like, how many people does he have working for him that do nothing but kiss his ass every chance they
True.
get?
Yeah, true. You
You
got to just
know,
give him
you know
nothing
what I
but
mean?
credit.
How many
Though.
people will genuinely challenge him personally
He built
in
himself
private?
from nothing. Like
Well,
literally
yeah,
from nothing. Like he was what? He was with what was the outfit he was with? He was talking about
Fusion.
Oh no, there was another one that's going
No, it
under.
was Vice, but it was
Vice,
Fusion.
Vice, yeah, yeah.
That was the company. Was Fusion
Mm.
started Vice News or something like that, and then and he was the founding member in terms of he was the first employee there,
Oh, okay.
and he did not have nothing at that point. He had a big contract.
Oh, sure. No, but I mean, but he built himself like he was just like
He was homeless at one point in his life.
boots on the ground
Well,
kind of
yeah,
guy.
yeah. In terms of that, yeah, yeah. But
Yeah.
financially, once he got into, he was, I think he's talked openly about it. He was making like 200 grand a year.
Oh, that's good.
So he had some money, and then he wanted to quit because they started to go woke, and they wouldn't let him. So he was just not doing anything, and he was still getting paid. Actually, I think that's the story he had. One time he was trying to quit, and they were like, "Oh, we'll just whatever, like just sleep on it or whatever." And then one day he got like a message or something about like some money or something like that, and he opened his bank account and they had deposited like $30,000 in his bank account just for nothing, just because they're like trying to sway him
Yeah.
to stick around. He's like,
That's hilarious.
but he was doing nothing and he was trying to quit, and they just gave him 30 grand.
All right.
I'll take it, I guess.
No, I like him because he does.
So
I
like
mean,
financially, he was well once he got to that point, but at some point he was like homeless, basically couch surfing. He dropped out of high school, or he left high school, and I guess dropped out's not really dropped out. Implies like flunking
yeah,
almost, but when you leave on purpose, it's a little bit different.
yeah, I agree. I mean, people. I know a lot of people that have quote unquote dropped out of high school,
Yeah.
and they're successful.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, my sister dropped out of high school, but then she went back and got equivalency and all that kind of shit, so she could do some other stuff. But um, it's kind of a pointless venture. High school is more of like a social thing.
Yeah, you do get some stuff out of it, but I think it's more um, learning how to person.
Anything you can do where you can okay, so for example, if let's say you dropped out of high school and then you at 25, 30, you can just go back and do a high school equivalency and do it in like 6 months or whatever the heck they do it in.
Yeah.
That tells me that the 4 years that you were in high school or 5 years or whatever the heck you were in there was probably a waste of time. It was more for the social end of it than anything. I just loved it for football.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think there's a part of it too that it's in your development
Well,
stage.
maybe.
So like you're
Yeah.
growing up. So like there's a lot going on in that period of your life where you're like learning how to be an adult kind of, but
True.
while you're not yet an adult. That is a component to the high school thing. Are you learning how to be responsible for yourself? Because now, once you go from like elementary school to high school, now you don't have to, or now
They
you,
give you responsibility.
well, yeah, like you have to make sure that you're at your
And
class
you gotta pick
on
your
time.
classes even at times.
You got to
It's
pick them up, but
I used to
they'll do all that for you and everything. But um, you have to show up there. You have to go up, and no one's really breathing down your neck the same way they are in elementary school. Like you don't do your homework, you get a bad grade. In elementary school, you don't do your homework. They have to like have the parents sign off on it, and like
Sure.
there's a whole thing
No,
about it.
I didn't think about it that way, but yeah, you're definitely right. There's definitely
Yeah.
it's kind of like a bridge.
Yeah, you're
It's
learning
kind of bridge to
how
adulthood, I
to
think.
be an adult
Yeah,
while getting a little bit more education, and kind of being prepared for post secondary if that's the route that you're going to take.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's
a bit of a waste, but no, but you're right. It definitely is a
it could be
bridge.
condensed or it could be expanded to like not expanded, but like take a lot out and put
Well, I
some
think
useful stuff in there.
I think they could use those 4 years for
Yeah.
like, it would be incredible what they could do there.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much fluffy bullshit. I mean, I had a class called Media English.
Yeah.
And you know what it was? Literally, we
What was
watched movies.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
And we would do these small little essays that were like 500-word essay about what the movie was about and shit. And It was honestly, it was a bird fucking class. But everybody knew it. It was like, but
That's why they took it.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
That's why I took it.
Okay.
All right. Well, we got one last thing to talk about. We'll try and get through this pretty quick because we're at about 55 minutes now.
The economy's collapsing.
Yeah, this is
There's
sad.
another bank, but this is okay. So all the banks have been closing, but this one's weird because the government bought it and then sold it to JP Morgan.
At a discount, apparently.
Yes.
Yeah. So they basically they took on. So what they did here is they said, "Hey,
It's a
look,
transfer. It's quite literally a
right.
massive transfer of wealth.
It's almost the equivalent of saying, "Hey, look, I've got the money here. I'm gonna buy something because I don't give a shit. It's not my money anyway. I'm gonna buy something. I'm gonna give it to you. You're gonna run it. You go ahead and make all the profits and shit on it, and
Yeah.
just that's it. Like I don't care. I don't as long as
Yeah.
you keep going. That's all that I care.
This one stinks to me.
It
Like there's some
all
smelly about
smells.
this.
It all smells. This, you know what this feels like? This is like so the first one with the whatever that one Silicon Valley Bank. That felt like the sort of the test. Like they went, okay, here goes a big bank. We're gonna see what happens, and nothing really happened. As far as like nobody balked the idea that the FDIC or whatever it was gonna insure all the accounts and stuff with fake money because well actually if the FDIC is it doesn't I mean the money they have would be technically legit because they actually it's a different entity but anyways, well, we're gonna insure it. So we're gonna do something we never did before. We're gonna insure it, and nobody balked it. Everybody went, okay, cool. That's normal. Just like 2008, where they went, hey, we're just gonna stimulus the government or stimulus these companies. We're gonna give a bunch of money, um, and do this quantitative easing thing, and nobody balked it. Right? I think this was a test. The first one was a test, and now this is sort of like proof of concept. This is like, okay, well, we got away with the one
We
now.
can do this.
And they're just seeing what they get away with at this point.
Yeah.
And this should scare people because
Oh yeah, it should terrify people.
this is the state coming in and saying, okay, we're gonna let something fail. Before it was like things are too big to fail. And this is a big fucking bank. This is not like small balls.
No. I was like
First Republic Bank is massive.
it's hundreds of billions of dollars.
This is a massive bank. This would have been in 2008. This would have been too big to fail. And suddenly it's not too big to fail. Suddenly it's no, we're going to step in as the government. We're going to buy it, and then we're going to give it to our friends at fuck. Why am I drawing blank?
JP Morgan.
JP Morgan, and they're going to run it. But we took the risk. Well, we didn't take the risk. Really, either you took the risk or no one took the risk because the money's fake anyway, or it's your money. It's either your money or fake. Well, really, it's our money. It's all our money. It's people's money because realistically, if the money's printed anyway, somebody has to pay the money back. So either you're going to pay it back by inflation or devaluation of all of your assets and money and savings and all that shit, or the economy will collapse. So either way, like one way or the other, people pay for it. But the government doesn't give a shit. The government is omnipotent in the way that they will just continue to exist no matter what. They've bloated themselves in a way that realistically they're the ones too big to fail because nobody's going to let the government fail. And oh yeah, you're out already. Holy shit. And I don't like. I said this before in other podcasts and stuff. I don't like to be a doomsday guy, but this I don't know where this kind of thing leads
culminating to something big.
Like it either is culminating to CDICs.
Well, that probably is one thing for sure.
Or it's culminating to a massive collapse in the economy, the US economy, which would mean that now the reserve currency in the world would be a different currency, whether it's China, which would be
China's pushing.
China would be the one. I mean, like who's gonna really compete with China? Like I mean, they're situated right now to be the one. I mean, we already know that like Brazil is using them as a reserve currency now because of their massive trading partner. So this is not good for anybody. Realistically, this is not good for your retirement savings. It's not good for your
It's not good for
future.
anything.
And I'm scared because I got money invested. And
Mhm.
even though we're in Canada,
It's all
it's all
connected.
tied. We're in a global economy at this point. Most of my investments, realistically,
Probably
probably
US companies.
50% is in US stuff or more. Maybe, no, maybe about 50% is in US. So if the US economy tanked, there goes 50% of my money, my Canadian money. And whether my Canadian money is worth shit after that anyway, who knows? So it just seems like this push to break the system. And for what reason? I don't know. Are they going to rebuild it with CDICs and things like that? Or CBICs? Why do I keep saying central bank
Central bank digital currency.
CBDCs?
Yes.
That's I've said it wrong 17 times, but I said it right this time. CBDCs. Um, so yeah, so if that might be the case, I don't know. But is this a case for crypto? I don't know. I'm not a big fan of crypto anymore. I've said it a number of times. I have it. I have crypto. I have some crypto, not much, but I have probably $5,000 worth of crypto coins. But I don't. I mean, I don't see how it's going to be the thing. I think we go right back to a barter system.
At some point, yeah.
I think when the dollar collapses, and well, I mean, I think either they change something or it's going to eventually collapse. And I'm surprised it hasn't by now. That we go back to some kind of trade system, some kind of barter system.
Yeah.
I can do this for you, you can do that for me, and we just trade it.
Yeah. At some point.
But I don't see how anybody in society would get away from CBDCs.
If they choose to implement it, you don't.
Because like you have to do something. Like I have to buy food.
Mhm.
Right? So yeah, I mean, am I going to be the one that fights the good fight and then dies of starvation? Probably not. I want to fight the good fight, but unless I've got the backing of a grocery store, like, you know, I mean, I don't know how to do it. So
Yeah.
this should scare people. Not to end our podcast on a very scary note,
Well, sometimes that happens.
but hopefully the Second Republic Bank doesn't go out of business.
Yeah.
But the third one does. We're done. That's it.
The
World
third one,
ends.
that's the line.
That's the line.
That is the
You
line.
cannot get to the third one. That's troubles. Well, hey, thanks for joining us today. Whoever did, if you did, nobody talked to us. Fuck you very much for that. I mean, nobody talks to us anymore. Hell, is it? It's you. You stink
That's
a
me.
little.
It's probably me. I
You
do
don't
smell.
smell very good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, next time, talk to us. Thanks for watching. If you are catching this after the fact, please obviously subscribe to our channel, share it with friends. If you agree with things we've said, if you don't, comment in the comments section. We'll happily engage with you there. And join us next week for another episode at 7 o'clock on Fridays. Fridays at 7 o'clock. That's where we're here.
Friday 7.
That's right. You can join us. You can just watch us. You can be a creeper, whatever you need. Okay, we'll see you then. Thanks for tuning in.
Pea soup.
Peace.